Let's wrap up our work on the left shin's flexi line. We'll start with the mid-bend control. With it selected, we'll give it a prefix of anim. Let's have it stored in our controls layer. Okay, great. So now it's time to create an object. To select this one, a little bit easier. Let's move over to our side view, and let's go ahead and create a circle. Great, so from there we'll move back to our perspective view. Let's take a look. We'll probably need to drop the radius. Let's go ahead and set that to 1. Now we can quick align this to the mid-bend control. So we use Shift A to do that. Once it's there, let's go ahead and switch our move tool to world mode. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and slide this forward. Remember, we used -5 for this object. Let's go ahead and see what -4 will do. So in the y-axis, we'll put in -4. And you can see that's kind of touching our FK control. So we might want to bring this back just a little bit more, maybe to about -2. Alright, much better. It's always a good idea to show our model to make sure it's not too close to our geometry, and that's going to work out just fine. Okay, so we can now go ahead and hide the character and attach this object to our mid-bend control. So with the mid-bend control selected, which is attach, and now grab our new circle, and we can go ahead and right-click to exit attach mode. All right, let's start to move this around. Everything's working wonderfully. We can go ahead and grab our IK control, start to pull that, take a look, and we have our bendy control for our chain. Very fun. All right, so once that's good to go, the next step is to set up our scale expression, and we know how to do that already. Let's go ahead and move back to Manage Layers. We'll go ahead and show the left shin's flexi hidden layer. So again, we're editing D, C, and B. We'll go ahead and start with D. We'll go ahead and hit Page Up to get to the helper we need. That's got the scale expression. In the motion panel, we'll go ahead and find the x-axis. Let's go ahead and choose Properties. Let's debug our expression and use this length. That's 7.9575. So we'll go ahead and use that, 7.9575. Great. And I'll go ahead and copy this value. We also need to update our global variable. Let's go ahead and find the global control, and let's just go in and tie in its scale. There we have it. So go ahead and choose OK. And now this one's good to go. We can go ahead and evaluate. All right, we'll do the same thing for the other helpers. I'll pause the video. Okay, so all expressions have now been updated. I'll go ahead and close out of the expression editor. And what we can do now is work on tying the volume switch on the Flexi's global object into the volume switch we've created and tied to our pelvis. All right, so we're using that same switch here, L leg vol active. So with the pelvis control selected, let's go ahead and right click, which is wire parameters. It's kind of getting cut off in the video. Let me go ahead and adjust the view a bit so we can go ahead and work with this. So I'll right click and choose wire parameters. There we go. And that's going to be extra controls, custom attributes. And here it is, the volume switch. And we'll go ahead and tie that into our FlexiLine's global object. That's going to be modified object, global volume. There we have it, active. And that's a direct connection. All right, once that's taken care of, we're now ready to clean things up. With the global node selected, we'll go ahead and tie that to the Flexi hidden layer. Remember, it's a good idea to go ahead and hide this layer to keep track of what needs to be stored. So I'll go ahead and take the connect curves next. There we go. And we'll store them in that same layer. All right. Let's also go in and hide the hidden layer so we can get to our other bone objects. You can see we have two bone objects that overlap. No worries, we could always go ahead and select both. It's not a big deal because they're going to the same layer anyway. And let's go ahead and add all of those objects to our bones layer. Great, so we can go ahead and hide that just to make sure everything's good. We'll hide controls. That looks good. We can go ahead and bring back the hidden layer. Remember, we have brought back the shin bone here, anim shin. So if you wanted to, you can go back to the display tab and choose hide selected. And if you need to bring that back again, you know exactly where to find it. All right, so everything is looking nice now. Everything is stored where it belongs. So that finishes up our work for the Flexi line connected to our shin. Now we're just about done with this leg. It would be really nice to be able to have a control right here in the center to stretch the entire knee. So once we're finished with that, then we'll be finished with this legs rig, which is really exciting. And what I'll do at that point is allow you to work on the right side, and then we'll spend a little bit of time just talking about that setup. Remember, everything is essentially the same, so we'll just go ahead and take a look at that process in a lesson to come after we have done our work on the stretchy control. So let's go ahead and set that up, and then we'll go ahead and move on to our right leg.